Yo, what is up, everyone? It's Odin this wonderful Tuesday morning on my way to work commute. But yeah, to give a quick shout out for 80s Made. Really cool guy had me on last night on the live stream, and I just wanted to say thank you to all the people that found my channel through that stream, and everybody in the chat was super cool, and yeah, an 80s Made, cool guy, and a fun channel he's got going there, so I'm glad to see that he's got some support brewing and people coming on. But yeah, it was cool, and I appreciate all the compliments I got on the artwork. It was humbling, it made me feel good, of course, it's flattering. But really awesome, and thank you to everybody who subscribed, all that stuff. And yeah, if I miss subscribing to you, just comment on something. I'll make sure to get you, especially if you got content, and I'll even throw the links out for what you got going on. So I just wanted to say thank you for that. But yeah, had to get up early, so I had to bust out of there pretty early, which is funny because I'm in Washington State Pacific time. I'm pretty sure 80s Made is Eastern time. So y'all staying up like super late, which is great if you can. You know, I'm gonna be on there with them Saturday, and yeah, I can actually hang and stay up late. I don't even have my daughters this weekend, so be doing a lot of work. Yard work and whatnot, as it's spring and I'm wont to do in this time of year. But yeah, I'll be able to stay up late and hang out with y'all. But yeah, had to get up at 5 every morning on work days. It's 5 Pacific time, so as far as like that chat goes, I was like, oh, well, you guys are hardcore if you're staying up late on the East Coast. Also, I was indulging myself in my favorite drink, which is Boilermakers. And I don't know, it was like, to be honest, that was breaking my live stream cherry, like with other people and stuff. So that was pretty cool. But all that said, like, I don't know if it was a nervousness or what. I was really pounding down the Boilermakers. And then I forgot they were Boilermakers maybe, and drinking them like they were just regular beers. Then boom, I'm like, it wasn't like I was trashed, it's just the Sandman came. The Sandman came a little quick, so, and also knowing I had to get up. All that, man. I had to bust out a little early, so. But I had a blast, and now we're heading to work. I mentioned it in some of my older videos, but some people might not know, I'm a packaging designer. A mild-mannered packaging designer by day. And yeah, that's my 9-to-5er. I've been doing it for a long time. It's a fun, interesting job. Like, it's not anything I would have expected that I'd be doing, but once I got I got a degree in CAD, I thought I'd be like doing drawings for like fucking nuts and bolts and shit like that, but ended up working in the packaging field as a structural designer, which is basically glorified origami when it comes down to it. So I take flat objects and make them into 3-dimensional objects, and then make them flat again. That is the nature of my job. Sometimes they're glued, sometimes they're not, but you know, doing everything from industrial packaging to agricultural packaging to retail packaging, displays, which are always fun. And then yeah, my ex, when we'd go to the store, she just roll her eyes because I'm just always looking at packaging again. Every display I see, I'm checking it out, getting ideas. the nature of what I do. But that said, that kind of pays the bills. So this was kind of eye-opening too, is how I really need to start thinking ahead on this book, Unconditional Shove. Many people asked what it was called, Unconditional Shove. Get my pitch tightened up. Start learning about setting up a Indiegogo campaign, a Kickstarter campaign. If I decide to do both, I might just do Indiegogo. That one for sure I'm doing. So, but yeah, start taking some of that a little more seriously. He also threw out the idea of lettering and getting that done by somebody who knows what they're doing. And being a drafter, my lettering is pretty on point, but I say that knowing that I've never done it in a comic book per se. So, but I had to do engineering lettering, which is quite similar to comic book lettering. It's just the comic book lettering is a little more stylized, and it has that kind of italic slant to it, which I naturally do. Most people naturally put some kind of slant. But when you're doing engineering lettering, you're not supposed to put a slant. It's supposed to be basically like typed print, But it's all caps, and so there's that. So I assumed I could do it. I assume I could do anything, if I want to. But the point that 80s made was, rather than disappoint people with the first product, it might be worth it. So we'll see. I got to contemplate a lot of this stuff. Like I mentioned on the stream, I've just been drawing, knowing that I'm going to be throwing it out to the world eventually, but going, I'll think about all that other shit later. Which is true. Like, I'm still going to take it one step at a time, but yeah. But it was a blast, and it was nice that everyone who got exposed to a good piece. I was working on a double-page spread. There's no panel work. There was no boring scene. It was just all one big exciting. Lots of monsters, and so I appreciated everyone's compliments. I'm like, well, just happened to be working on the right picture at the right time for that to be most beneficial for excitement. And also, as I mentioned, Unconditional Shove is a anthology style. I'm a huge fan of short stories and a huge fan of the anthology style shows and comics. So I kind of talked about it like, when they're talking about, I think it was Mary Jane losing her skin. I was like, well, at a certain point, you've done everything with these characters. You got to just do something else because, they're, how long has Spider-Man been going? How much more can you do with him? And that's kind of my thought. I do love characters. It's just not what I want to do is have like a character that just goes on and on and on forever, and you learn every single thing about them. I love short stories where you're mostly using archetypes to tell the tale. Again, I hope there's a connection to the characters, because I always felt that in a good short story. But your mind fills in the blank. You don't have to know the backstory. They just have to come across a certain way. And it's a lot easier in cinema or, in television, like Twilight Zone. Because you can hear a person's accent, you can hear their cadence, and that comes across through an actor so much better than it does, through drawings and letters. But we're going to do our best to where you pick up on the characters. But usually, again, when you're using archetypes, your brain creates the archetype. Like it already goes. If you set it up right, you go, yeah, I think this guy might be an antagonist, and you can use that to your advantage, obviously, with twist endings or something like that. But you're going to, like, pick up on it and go, oh, this is this kind of character, or this is this kind of character. I mean, there are archetypes. But when it comes down to it, the big characters that they've fleshed out and written millions of stories about, they're archetypes too. Peter Parker is an archetype, Spider-Man himself. What's interesting, and it's what worked for Spider-Man and made him so popular, was that he was not the type of archetype that you would typically think of in a hero's role, and that's what made it really fun. Was a puny little kid becomes the most heroic savior of his world. That's a cool story, and that's really what worked. But most comic book fans know the history that Stan Lee wanted the idea, and everybody was kind of pushing back on him that that's not going to sell. People want Superman, and Superman had his own cool depth within his own archetype. But Peter Parker was a great invention. Spider-Man, just a great invention. Stan Lee and Steve Ditko, great combo. And so anyway, all that to say, like, my book is going to be short story anthology style. So the first installment is one story, and I haven't totally, like, come up with the elevator pitch. So that's another thing I got to seriously work on, especially if people are going to be asking now. But I can say it's very sci-fi, horror in nature, which again comes back to, my love for, like, Tales from the Crypt, Tales from the Dark Side, Twilight Zone, all that stuff. It all seemed to center around the fantastic, the sci-fi, the horror element. I don't know if it's ever going to have superhero elements, but there might be to a certain extent. But yeah, short story style. So hopefully everyone digs it. It was really humbling and cool to hear everyone dig the artwork so far. So really quick, if you made it this far in the video, just letting you know, if you want to see more artwork, because it's hard to, when I'm on YouTube, I'm just drawing whatever I'm working on, and I don't get much drawing done. I end up getting way too much talking and not enough drawing. But if you want to see more of it, all of my social medias is branded the same. It's just my name, and I'm pretty sure I'm the only Odin Dasco in the world. So that's why it was easy to kind of brand myself, because I was born with a very unique name. So if you want to see more, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, it's all Odin Dasco. Whatever platform you're on, and if there's one out there that you're on that I'm not, let me know, because I get out there in many avenues as possible. But the big three, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, I'm on all those, and sharing artwork. So you can you can basically see the entire book almost if you subscribe to me on those, because I wasn't shy about sharing everything I've been working on, just to, like, keep some interest going and get it out there. So if anyone's interested, check those out. And once again, I'm going to wrap this up, but thank you again to everyone. JBot, really liked what I saw art-wise, and I'd already subscribed to him and on all those platforms. I think it was mainly because I think he did one of the fan art submissions for Truth, Justice, American Way, as well as myself. So I was subscribing and liking and getting on board with everybody I could find that had submissions, because they were all awesome. And I remember his was very awesome. So very cool guy as well. All good people. And it was fun to be with good people and hang out and draw. And yeah, so I appreciate y'all. 80s Made, thank you again. And we'll talk to you later. This is Odin. See ya.